Good evening. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight on our talk on mental health and just how to support our bodies and our mind to deal with some of the stress that's going on in this world today. And I'm so grateful to be here. Some of you know me. My name is Nada St. Germain, and I was introduced to Neo Life 32 years ago. And I was stressed, I was tired, I was run down, I was working shift work. I was working as a police officer right downtown Toronto. So I was under a lot of stress, and the shift work just really did me in. And I remember, looking back, this is going back, my goodness, 30 some odd years ago, I was really struggling with energy, and it made me feel sad. So I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I have experienced moments of sadness and just feeling kind of anxious, especially because I was so tired, and I really felt like I just didn't want to go into work. I just knew what it would be like to be tired all the time. And it was interesting because that's when a dear friend of mine and a neighbor introduced Neo Life to me. It was mainly for energy and from my mom for her aches and pains. But it was incredible after I started taking these incredible products and just giving my body the right nutrients. I was able to deal with stress better at my job. I remember going into work, and it was just after maybe a month or two after taking some of these products from Neo Life, that guys at work commented, and they would say, "What are you doing different? What are you on, St. Germain?" They'd say to me. And that's when I realized that the products were really impacting me and just how I felt overall. I got so excited that I just started sharing and sharing and sharing. And the impact that these products have made to my family and my friends, you're going to hear some pretty powerful testimonials, especially in the area of mental health. And that's what we're going to be focusing on this evening. So 32 years later, still impacting people's lives and really helping people all over the world, which is kind of cool. So let's talk a little bit about mental health and what's going on. So the World Health Organization, they list depression as the #1 cause of disability and loss of productivity in the world. Okay. A new poll finds that 41% of Canadians and 31.1% of the US adults say that they struggle with anxiety. And in the US, 15 million adults suffer from social anxiety disorder. And that was a stat from October 2022. In Canada, a full third say that they have been professionally diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. And anti-anxiety meds are taking over antidepressant meds. And it may very well be considered the condition of the decade, because you're hearing so many stories and people are struggling. And I'm finding it's even happening in our younger generation. So our brain, needs nourishment. It needs food. It needs essential fatty acids. It needs protein. It needs antioxidants. So these are all the nutrients that help support our brain, that helps to deal with some of the stress that's going on in our life. And when you're looking at nutrition and brain function, you can't have a healthy brain with a poor quality diet, okay? The food you eat every day is the foundation of your body for life. And you're more likely to suffer from depression if born after 1945 than before 1914. And that's because of food processing, pollution, just deterioration of our diets. And when you see what's happened with our food as we go through this presentation, you're going to really understand why, the challenges we're having today is really because of the nutritional support that we're not getting from our food today, just due to food processing. And when you're looking at nutrition, I mean, it really is the key, okay, to long-term health. And there's a lot of science that supports this now. And this was a recent study that was done in 2010. Women who ate diets high in vegetables, fruit, fish, whole grains were less likely to suffer from depression. There's a lot of key nutrients that play a really big role in supporting our brain and our hormones, because our hormones control everything, how we feel, how we act, and how we react. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. And even the Canadian Food Guide back in 2019, they changed their food guide where half of your plate, right, should be those dark colored fruits and veggies and a little bit of protein, a little bit of whole grain, and water should be your drink of choice. But the challenge is, this was a study that was done in over 190 countries. And it's what we aren't eating that's actually killing us. And this was a global study. And what they found was we weren't eating enough grains, nuts and seeds, fruit, omega-3, and vegetables. These are the nutrients that we weren't eating enough of, and this is one of the biggest challenges that we're having all over the world. And our grains today are no longer whole. Our grains are milled, they're processed. They're not the same grain that we were consuming or buying or purchasing over 75 years ago. Years ago, they used to grind the wheat, make the flour, make the bread, and guess what? The grains were whole, the nutrients were there, the breads were dense. Right now, what happens? Well, we call it the great grain robbery. They take out all these critical oils, these essential fatty acids, and all the important nutrients are gone. And we're left with this white flour, starch, protein, gluten. And that's why so many people today have trouble digesting some of these foods and troubles with digestion. And so these are essential, but they're not the same grain. Okay, so we're not getting those critical oils. And I have to say that Neolife is a world leader in cellular energy with Tran grain concentrate. This is how the company started in 1958, based on cellular energy and cell function. Tran grain oils are the building blocks for cell membrane function, brain and nerve function, and hormones. So important. These grain oils surround every single cell in your body. If you don't have these oils in your diet, your cells look like the cell on the left. If you have these oils in your diet, your cells look like the cells on the right. When I started taking Tran from Neolife 32 years ago, the difference in how I felt emotionally, mentally, energetically, no more PMS, and again, just dealing with stress better at my job, especially working shift work. This is what really changed the way I felt mentally and emotionally. But when you're looking at supplementing, like, why should you trust Neolife? You know, that was a huge thing for me. I didn't know anything about supplements. I've never taken supplements, but my mom, she was taking supplements 32 years ago, and they didn't help her at all. So I actually said no to my friend about 5 times before I decided to give Neolife a try, because I was really skeptical. Because like I said, when I watched my mom, and there were so many products out there that were being tested, and they found inactive, and they found speed-like ingredients, they found inactive ingredients, and you know, everybody I talked to said, oh, I take vitamins, but they don't work. So I really didn't know who to trust and why I should even trust Neolife. Well, let me tell you, the more I looked at Neolife, the more I realized that it was a company that I could trust. And again, there was companies out there that were between 2007 and 2016, over 776 products that they tested, and they were, again, unsafe or unstudied ingredients. So that's kind of scary. But again, Neolife has been around since 1958. We're celebrating 65 years, never been in trouble, a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing. And this is really important because this is not mandatory with a nutritional company. This is something the company chooses to do. So we're regulated like drugs, but we're not drugs. And this is why our products are tested, and we've, again, established in over 50 countries around the world. We're a pioneer in the industry, the most respected scientific research team. And I've met most of these scientists. They're absolutely incredible. They're world renowned. They don't just endorse the product. They're actually involved in manufacturing and developing the product and doing research. And if you were to just research Dr. Liz Applegate or Dr. Susan Beck, Dr. First, one of the top cancer researchers in the world, top toxicologist in the world, not just with Neolife, you will be blown away. And this is why I was comfortable taking the products and recommending them to my family when I saw the science and the minds behind this incredible company. So really, really important, the science and the publications published in third-party, peer-reviewed medical journals. Again, not just by Neolife. Companies can make studies, make claims, you know, publish their findings, but it's when third-party, this is the key, third-party publications and peer-reviewed. And one of the biggest differences with Neolife is we're not just natural, we're made from food. Everything from the human food chain. We do not go out of the human food chain. And that's really important as well. No GMO ingredients, transgenic testing of each batch, which means they can tell you when that tomato seed was planted and when it was harvested and when the nutrients were extracted. right back to its original seed stock. Very, very powerful. So let's talk about some of the challenges and maybe some diet that you should be looking at, or food you should be looking at, because there's some food and food related nutrients that can also have an effect on moods and depression and anxiety. And you really should be tested for some of these to see if you have some sensitivities, if you had some food intolerances like milk and gluten and things like that. But you really should be looking at eating a healthy diet that is rich in whole grains, raw fruits and vegetables, nuts, legumes and beans, and foods that are rich in omega-3, filtered water, complex carbs, and low sugar foods. Okay, that's really important. And avoiding caffeine and sugar, pop, fried foods, chips, anything processed. Okay, so these are the things that you really want to look at, especially if you're looking at reaching optimal health. Okay, I'm not saying you can never have sugar. I like to call those foods sometimes foods, okay, as a treat, not something that you consume every single day. Okay, so that's important as well, because you do want to enjoy life a little bit, right? So let's look at our multivitamin pack. So when I talked about that study, that what we aren't eating is killing us, the grains, the fish, the nuts and seeds, omega-3, that's all in this amazing pack, this vitamin pack that Neolife has to offer to fill those nutritional gaps in your diet. And we're going to talk about these 4 different products individually so you can see what they're made from and how they can fill the nutritional gaps. But they start at the cellular level. Remember we talked about the cell membrane becoming permeable and soft, and well, we have 73 trillion cells and you're only as healthy as your cells. So you got to make sure your cells are working properly. And that's where that vitality pack kind of forms that foundation. Because studies, again, show that there's a danger from what we're missing, and we call them those lipids and phytosterols. There was a doctor back in 1994, Dr. Segal, that made a powerful statement that food manufacturers generally remove these spoilage-prone compounds, essential fatty acids from pasta, bread, and breakfast cereal in order to lengthen the shelf life. Okay, so we're now 3rd generation not having these essential lipids and phytosterols in our diet, which is causing a lot of serious health challenges. And Trianan is the first little pill that's in that little packet that gets your cells healthy, gets the nutrients in, waste out. The difference it'll make in your life is incredible. This is what I started again taking 32 years ago, and it's made a huge impact in my energy and my moods. So now let's talk about some of the challenges. So clinical depression, just got to move something here. Hold on a second here. And inflammation, okay? Inflammation, clinical depression associated with 30% increase of inflammation of the brain, according to a study published in JAMA Psychiatry. So there's neuroscience news also in 2017 that says brain inflammation is linked to suicidal thinking and depression, okay? This is so important because, I mean, I've even talked to families where their young kids, 8 to 10 years old, are having suicidal thoughts. How do kids even know how to think this or what it is? Okay, so it's amazing how the brain can be affected. Okay, so inflammation is so important to reduce inflammation in the body. Sorry, slides aren't. Omega-3. Okay, the essential fats are important for brain function and emotional well-being. Reduces inflammation in the body, including the brain. A study in Scotland in several depressed patients, in 70 to 80%, they became normal in mood after supplementing with omega-3, and that was Dr. David Horobin. How many of you eat 2 to 3 servings of fresh fish a week? And that does not include fish and chips. Okay, so you got to look at fresh fish. It's hard, and some of our fish is contaminated, mercury, lead, toxins, so it's a challenge. Essential fatty acids also help to regulate our hormones. So if you're deficient in omega-3, your whole hormonal system becomes unbalanced. Foods high in omega-3, fish such as salmon, as high as EPA and DHA, tuna, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, the best sources of omega-3 because it's already in the right form for the body to absorb and just works better. So eating bad fats displace the good fats, so become more deficient as a result. Okay, so you really need to make sure that you're increasing the consumption of your good fats. Okay, more benefits of omega-3. Again, we talked about inflammation, definitely controls inflammation. It promotes youthful brain function, supports healthy eyes, supports health for mom and baby too. So postpartum depression, you hear that a lot. Young moms, getting depressed after they have their baby. That's because baby takes most of the nutrients from mom and not much is left for mom. So that's why it's so important for mom to supplement with omega-3s during her pregnancy as well. So there's enough for baby and for mom. Okay, so omega-3s, very, very important. And the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they did this amazing article on the power of nutrition in baby, and they featured the Neolife salmon oil because it was safe, free of pesticides, mercury, lead, and toxins. It was one of the products they recommended to pregnant moms, which is kind of cool. And they're very strict with their regulations in the UK. So all 8 omega-3, this is one of the biggest differences. Not only is it free of toxins, screened for 200 contaminants, 0 tolerance, but it has all 8 omega-3s. So when you eat a piece of fish, there's 8 omega-3s. Okay, 3 of these capsules is like eating 4 ounces of fresh salmon. So it's a perfect healthy meal. If you don't like eating fish, this is perfect. Okay, then we have our carotenoids, which is our fruits and veggies. Now we should be eating up to 13 servings of dark colored fruits and vegetables every day. I don't know too many people that do. I try in my diet, but it's a challenge. Even though I try every single day, it's a challenge every day to eat 13 servings a day. Well, this one capsule in this little packet after 1 month is equivalent to consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and veggies in every box. Powerful antioxidants, protects you. It helps to slow aging. It's tested to boost your immune system 37% in 20 days. All made from carrots and tomatoes, peppers, spinach, apricots, and peaches, all made from food. And again, just helps to support your immune system. Okay. The last little capsule in there is our multivitamin. So this multivitamin is, I like to call it like the Cadillac of multis. So you're not just getting a multi. So in the pack, you're getting the tran grain concentrate. You're getting the carotenoid complex, fruits and veggies. You're getting your omega-3 fish oil, and you're getting a multivitamin, all in this convenient pack. So this is kind of like the core nutrition, okay, especially when you're looking at mental health, energy, hormonal balance. Very, very powerful. And I'm going to have my nephew share his story. He shared this with me at Christmas a year, actually it was in 2021. And when he shared this with me, I was almost in tears. So I said to him, I said, Nash, can I please get this on video? And he said, shared his story. It's very short, but it's very, very powerful. So enjoy this quick little story. I'm here with my nephew, Nash, and he just shared something personal with me today. And I just wanted for him to share it from his heart. Nash.
Hi guys. So I've been on Pro Vitality most of my life because of my aunt. She's always had us on the products. Because of personal reasons in COVID and everything, I stopped my auto ship for about 8 months. And about 4 months in, I started feeling like severe anxiety at work and at home. And I've never had any sort of issues with that in my entire life. So it was really weird. I almost had to go on stress leave for several months because of this. And one day I realized that I hadn't been eating properly or taking my Pro Vitality or my protein shakes in the morning anymore. So I asked my mom if she had any on her. I think I was 2 weeks in and all my anxiety was gone.
I thought that was pretty awesome when you shared that story. It was pretty, oops, let me just get to the next page here. Sorry, guys. Don't know what happened to my PowerPoint. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. There we go. So now I have the pleasure of introducing Sean. What's really cool is Sean knows Nash, my nephew. They've hung out together in the past. And I want to ask Sean if he would share his story tonight. He said yes. So Sean, please share your journey.
Absolutely. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm Sean. Yeah, I've had, I guess, various dealings with mental health over the past few years. I've been on the Neolife products for about 15 years now, I want to say, right? But I had very severe anxiety around the age of like 18. I had my first panic attack at 18. Suffered pretty bad with depression. I had very bad suicidal tendencies for quite a while. And then, but the one thing that I noticed had helped during all this was, I mean, I had to amp up the supplements and everything, especially the B vitamins, magnesium, you know, increasing even the shakes. And I remember even like my pharmacist at one point it told me, hey, you know, maybe just try just the medication and just take off the Neolife. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I tried it and then just like absolutely just it was not a good idea. But I would say that the supplements have definitely played a considerable role in my own mental health and just health journey in general. And I don't suffer from any suicidal tendencies anymore. Anxiety is extremely minimal. I don't even remember the last time I had a panic attack, to be honest with you. And depression is pretty much gone. So yeah, I mean, I'm still taking like a little bit of medication and whatnot, but it's not what I used to take. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate it. And I think it's important for people to understand, and you know, sometimes medication is necessary. But what we found was you don't need as much. And I found even with different experiences from the past, you work with your doctor, you work with your healthcare practitioner. And because these products are made from food, right, it won't interfere with your medication. And that's what's so wonderful. And just being able to deal with the stresses of your life, right? So that's what good nutrition will do, and that's what good supplementation will do. So thank you so much for sharing, Sean. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And I know your mama's proud. Thank you so much. So now let's talk about breakfast and eating them. This is one thing that, you know, even Sean, I remember when I met Leonie and she was having challenges with Sean. And the first thing, you know, she said, I think I need to change his breakfast up. I said, absolutely, because it was all sugared cereals and hot chocolate, right? What do most kids eat in the morning, or most moms give their kids? It's cereal. I mean, I'm not saying my kids never eat cereal. We grew up on cereal, but let me tell you, most adults don't eat breakfast where they have a lot of carbohydrates, or that lovely big cup of coffee, right? Well, this could be another factor to people struggling with depression, anxiety, because you really need to start your day with energy, nutrition, you know, good vitamins and minerals, good quality protein. And protein plays a critical role. But the main thing is you need all 22 amino acids. And what's that? Well, that's a complete protein. And you can't get it just from eating foods. It's very, very difficult. And it's a challenge. And protein helps with digestion. It helps to fight infection and disease. Hormones. This was huge for me. Collagen in your skin. It makes collagen. Also helps to control and regulate sugar levels. And this is where the depression and the anxiety comes in, because regulating blood sugar. So when you have low blood sugar, it causes shaking, moodiness, you know, which is common when your hormones are off balance. And the Neolife shakes, they're great and easy to make, and they help to regulate blood sugar. Amino acids are the precursors to neurotransmitters. So the communicators, they're your brain. My kids, they grew up on the Neolife shake. And I know, Sean, that's something you take a lot of as well, because it gets your blood sugar in that glycemic control zone. So it's great for diabetics, great for weight loss, great for fat burning. It prevents fat storage, but constant energy, daily energy. And it tastes fantastic. I have to say, I've had it every day for 32 years, other than when I do a detox. But other than that, you know, kids love it. They want it. You can put it in a sippy cup when the kids are babies, and it's safe because it's all natural. It has all 22 amino acids, good quality protein, 18 grams of protein, fiber, again, blood sugar control, glycemic response, all your vitamins and minerals, and whole food antioxidants. Nothing artificial. Okay, that's why it's safe for babies, safe for kids, safe for elderly. No high fructose corn syrup, no preservatives, 90% lactose free, and no GMO ingredients. That's really, really important. And then we have a vegan option for those of you that want a plant-based option. Tastes fantastic. And then for our kids, we have a liquid vitamin with those grain oils and antioxidants. We have Vita Squares, which is chewable, which are just like that Pro Vitality pack when you add the Vita Guard. Chewable for kids, no artificial anything, and the protein shake again. So these are this is the foundation program for kids, which really helps to support their mental health for prevention. It's so important to give them the nutrition as they're growing and as they're developing as young children. So now let's talk about the stress factor, okay? Are you stressed out? I'm finding this time of year, there's a lot of stressed out people out there, especially if you've been to the malls and the lineups. It's crazy already. I think people are just really excited about getting out and getting ready for Christmas. But let me tell you, stress, common symptoms, headaches, infection, high blood pressure, neck and back aches, dizziness, diarrhea, there's, oh my gosh, irritability, fatigue, insomnia. So all of these lead us to disease. So we really want to make sure that we can manage and balance our stress. And stress depletes the B vitamins. Long-term unresolved stress can cause depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. Consuming sugar, caffeine, and alcohol and smoking also increase stress on your body. So you got to look at everything that you're doing. Okay, it's not just about taking supplements. It's also about other things that you're doing to deplete your body. And that's really important as well. Okay, so some other things that you can do. Exercise is so important. No, Sean, that's something you shared with me, how when you go to the gym and you do your, is it Muay Thai, kickboxing, or whatever you do, the energy, the endorphins, and I find that exercise is huge for me. That's the way I relieve my stress. I also do yoga and meditation and prayer. So powerful. Daily sunshine. Sometimes, turning off your ringers and your phone and ignoring emails just to give you that time out for yourself. Very, very important. Clean diet, whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and watch your sugar and salt. So these are some of the other things that you can do to manage your stress. Now, anxiety. This is due to fight or flight sympathetic response. So, some things that can happen: heart palpitations, tachycardia, shaking, shortness of breath. You feel like choking. I hear people like that all the time. They go, all of a sudden, I feel like I can't breathe. Nausea, abdominal upset, dizziness, fear of losing control, fear of dying, chills, and hot flashes. So these are some of the things that anxiety can play a role. And then when depression sets in, that sadness, that hopeless, the worthlessness, the low self-esteem. I mean, there's so much going on when you're dealing with anxiety and depression and loss of energy, and sleep can be affected. Reckless behavior can happen. And again, your suicidal thoughts. So these are all the things that can stem from just feeling depressed. And I would love to now introduce our lovely Heather LeCraw to share her journey and the challenges she's had. Heather, can you join us, please? Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm here, and hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
So my name is Heather LeCraw, and I was a school teacher for 25 years. I actually found it very stressful. I don't figure that I was a natural teacher, but it was very, very stressful. And really the mental demands were damaging to my health. And over the course of many years, my stress and the work challenges had built up so much that I was burned out, and I simply couldn't function properly. It was obvious to all of those around me. I didn't really know how far I had gone down that spiral until my department head said, Heather, I think you need some extra time off. So I was diagnosed with clinical depression, and I was off work on stress leave. So I was on a psychiatrist's care and was prescribed antidepressant medication. And I had been taking the basic health pack, as had been just now described, from Neolife for a few years. And it did help my energy and my general health, but I had so much more stress that built up, and so I needed a little bit more. I felt that, knowing what I had learned through Neolife and what nutrition could do, I didn't want to make the pharmaceuticals my first option. So I went to a naturopathic doctor and took some of the products that I wanted to take from Neolife. And she said, yes, she would definitely recommend all of those. It was the extra B vitamins, the B complex, the omega-3s, lots more omega-3s. And she also suggested some herbs. Well, it turned out those herbs were in our Herbal Rest and Relax. So I increased all of those nutrients, my vitamin B, plus, aloe vera plus, which I still take every day, a little aloe vera, it's natural anti-stress. And after a year off work with regular counseling, lots of self-care, rest, and the whole food supplements from Neolife, I was given the okay by my doctor and went back to work, and then retired in 2009. And since then, I've never had a relapse. And I can really truly say that I experience joy in my life every single day in some way. I'm so thankful that I could give my body what it needed to heal with trusted and proven products from Neolife. And by sharing my story, I can help others in their journey to complete wellness.
Heather, you hit it on the nail. So fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. We've watched your journey over the years, and I'm sipping my aloe vera. As you were talking about aloe, it's like, it's my bedtime. Yeah, it's my bedtime little calming little thing that I do. So thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate having you on tonight. And I'm going to have my dear friend Laurie share her story, because this was my first real, I think, experience in my Neolife business that really made a dramatic impact. And this is when I knew that I just knew that I had to be where I was, sharing these incredible products. So here's my dear friend Laurie.
I want her to share her personal testimonial on how the products have had a huge impact in dealing with depression.
When I met Nada, I was very seriously depressed. Probably the worst I've ever been in my life. And I was on many medications for anxiety and depression. And I knew that's not the kind of life I wanted to live. So I was introduced to Nada by a friend, and I got started on the products. I think I was taking vitamin B, the Trianen, and the protein shakes. And with the assist of my doctor, within about 3 months, I was weaned off all my medications and feeling like I probably never felt before, because I think I suffered from depression probably since I was a very young girl. So it was a whole new way of living for me. And ever since then, I've
Laurie's been doing
taking
amazing.
the products.
And I think we added the fish oil too, the omega-3.
Eventually,
Eventually.
yes. Yeah.
But I think the Trianen.
Yeah, the Trianen and the vitamin B at the time was I think the two key ones, and then the protein, of course.
Yeah, so I watched an amazing transition, and she's become a very strong woman, and again 20 years later, and just doing incredibly well. So just the power of whole food nutrition, whole food supplements from Neolife being as a foundation, and changing her life. So I just wanted to share that story with you. Thank you.
And Laurie's still doing amazing. We just celebrated her 60th birthday last weekend, and it was awesome to see her. And Leonie, you were with me, and her journey has been absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to share Laurie's story with you. And also, there's a lot of research now, and we're hearing more about vitamin D. Getting vitamin D is so important to lift your moods naturally. And they say 20 minutes a day without sunscreen or blockers. But it's really difficult. I find, especially this week, has been brutal. It's been cold and dreary and damp and cold. Yeah, just there's not much vitamin D out there now, especially over the winter months. So, research suggests that you're 11 times more likely to be depressed if you're deficient in vitamin D than someone who is not deficient. So it's really important that you make sure. You can even test to get your vitamin D levels checked. So I would highly recommend that. And our vitamin D, oh my gosh, it is naturally sourced, whole food based, unique plant sourced. It's not made from sheep wool or lamb's wool like a lot of the vitamin Ds that are out there. And it's incredible. We've had great results with people that were struggling or that were low in vitamin D, and just really turn that around. So there's our vegan option, our vegan vitamin D. And then I know Heather and Sean and Leonie talked about vitamin B to regulate the mind and the mood. Our vitamin D is, vitamin D is a water soluble nutrient. So it's in constant demand. It needs to be supplemented. It needs to be increased when you're under a lot of stress, or if there's infection, or if you're on medication, or if you're taking birth control, if you drink alcohol or a lot of coffee. So vitamin B is definitely needed more of if you're doing any of these. And our vitamin B, it's an amazing, unique whole food source. It begins with nutritional yeast and complete all the nutrients are there. It's a full spectrum, water soluble, and it works. I've had people try other bees that are feeling stressed or fatigued, and as soon as they switch over to the Neolife Super Bee, incredible results. So this is definitely a go-to if you're under a lot of stress. And then Heather mentioned the aloe, definitely one of my faves. It's very calming. It's great to sip on in the evening, just a couple of ounces. You don't need a lot. Very calming. It also helps with constipation, but has a blend. It's not just aloe, a blend of chamomile, ginseng, passion flower. It helps with anxiety, stress, and depression. And it tastes really good. So that's another bonus, because I've had some people go, oh no, I don't want to try aloe. It's really gross and gooey and goopy. And it's like, no, this one tastes really good. So you got to give it a try. It almost tastes like a flat ginger ale or like an apple cider kind of drink. So anyways, it tastes fantastic, and it works really, really well. Another thing I want to focus on is there's a big relationship also between the brain and the gut. So if you have struggles with digestion, constipation, anything to do with candida, yeast overgrowth, bacterial growth, that has a big link to mental health as well. Okay. So through food processing, especially sugars, medication, antibiotics, preservatives, and bad bacteria can really take over if you're destroying all that good bacteria. So we do have something called a candida cleanse. So if you're suspecting that you might have candida, and just so you know that it doesn't have to be just vaginal yeast. Men can have a yeast overgrowth. Some of the symptoms can be smelly breath, smelly feet, body odor. There's so many different symptoms to a yeast overgrowth. But I would recommend doing a yeast cleanse at least once a year. It's something that I do once a year because I don't eat a perfect diet all the time. So sometimes you destroy some of that good bacteria, and the bad bacteria can really take over. So our acidophilus is target delivered. It gets to where it needs to get to, all those good live bacterial cultures. And it's just a high quality probiotic is what it is. So the yeast cleanse, just so you know what it entails, is, garlic. So garlic and acidophilus, these are the two products that are involved in our candida cleanse. If you are suspecting candida, then this is something that's very simple to do. It is a 30-day cleanse, but it doesn't really interfere with too much of what you're doing. You just want to stay away from sugars and yeasty breads and crackers and cookies and baked goods and dairy products, fermented foods like wine and beer and things like that, like high sugary kind of foods. But you literally just take 10 garlic for 10 nights and 6 acidophilus for 30 days. Okay, that's our candida cleanse. It's very simple. It just gets the good bacteria under control. But if after the 10 days, there needs to be an odor of garlic in the bowel, if that happens, you've conquered the yeast. Okay, if there's still no odor, then that means that the garlic has destroyed, the yeast has destroyed the garlic. You really want to make sure that there's an odor of garlic in the stool. And you can increase the garlic, you can keep going. I've actually had people even do the cleanse twice, back to back. Will not hurt you at all. So again, in case there is a sign or you're concerned about candida or yeast overgrowth, this is something that can really help, especially if you're dealing with anxiety and depression. And if you've been consuming a lot of medication, this might be something that you might want to consider as well as a candida cleanse, just to get that good bacteria back in check. Now we do have another herb. I know Heather did mention a herb that I forgot to bring up today, is a herbal rest and relax, which is very calming and great for sleeping and relaxing. But another thing for the mind that Neolife has for more focusing and concentration and for thinking clearer, increases circulation to the brain, also good for the nervous system, is our mind enhancement. Great for mental function. It has a blend of herbs that with like ginkgo biloba, which is great for mental clarity. The finest herbs, it's naturally sourced. So again, just another herb if you are looking at some good nutritional and herbal support as well. So you've heard some great stories. You've heard a lot about a lot of different products, but really we always say start with the foundation. If you're not suspecting candida or don't have any tummy issues, and you're just kind of battling a bit of moodiness and could use some extra energy, a little bit of irritability, start with our breakfast solution, the Vitality Pack with the protein shake. This is a great place to start. And then you can look at adding the B vitamins or the probiotic or maybe the aloe vera. So it really depends on where you are in your journey, in your mental health journey. So what is your next step? You're probably saying, well, how do I get a hold of these products? How do I get a hold of this amazing breakfast solution? Well, it's free to join. As soon as you become a member of our wellness club, you can get a savings of anywhere from 15 to 30% off. A monthly delivery. So when you go on NeoShip, you get wholesale price. You can get all your shipping back, okay, in 6 months. And that's kind of cool. A lot of my customers don't like paying shipping. They like to have their shipping for free. And as a loyal customer, they will give you that back and you can spend that money on other products. We also have a referral program, whereas if you refer 3, you get your breakfast solution free. And we have different challenges. We have weight loss challenges. We have fitness challenges. And these are the solutions that we offer. So you can start just with the Vitality Pack. If you're saying, you know what, I'm not used to taking supplements, I'd like to start slower, boom, start with the Vitality Pack. If you're looking at, possibly that breakfast, the protein shake, then the breakfast solution is definitely a really good place to start. If you have a few pounds to shed, then we have our weight loss pack that you can start with as well, because you're doing 2 protein shakes a day. So these are just the different ideas, different suggestions that we have to offer in order for you to feel better and to support your mental health. But definitely, this is one of the greatest places to start, is with our breakfast solution. And if you'd like to learn more, we have an incredible group on Facebook. And once we become Facebook friends, or the person invited you, they can invite you to this group. It's called Neolife Healthy Living Community. We have over 10,000 members in this group now, where people share their stories and their testimonials. Quite powerful. And then we do have another option. So if you're anything like me, first of all, I was not looking for an income opportunity. I was just looking for a way to improve my health along with my family, especially my mom. But if you are someone really enjoys helping others and having an impact, I was in a career where I just felt lost. I knew it wasn't something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I wanted time freedom. And once I started helping people with these incredible products, my income grew and I was able to leave my police career. So if you're in a position where you could use an extra, little extra cash, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, or building a career like myself, just ask the person who invited you and we can guide you in that direction. But again, you probably just joined us tonight to find out who we are, what we do, and how we can support you nutritionally, especially to support your mental health. You can become a member for free and get a discount and get started using the products. And if you're curious about that income, just ask the person who invited you. And if you want to learn more, every Thursday night, we do a different health talk, different topic every night, every Thursday. And on Tuesdays, we just do a basic introduction to give you an overview on who we are and what we do as a company. So again, these products have impacted my life. As you can see, they've impacted some family and some of my dearest friends. And again, if you just want to look at improving your health, just take a look, give them a try. I promise you that you will have just great success and really make an impact in your health today. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I will stop the recording and open it up to questions.